Blog Talk Radio. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard. Hi everyone, this is Chatting with Nat. Yes, it's Natalie Jean. It's Natalie Jean. Today we have the honor of having singer-songwriter, the Kiki Experience. Kiki Hawkins, originally from Baltimore, Maryland, my neck of the woods, attended the Baltimore School for the Arts. She further continued her education at the Juilliard School of Music. Wow. Kiki began her touring career with notable artists such as Amel Larrieux, Kelis and Angelique Kidjo, Nona Hendryx, the Legendary Group LaBelle, and Q-Tip, to name a few. A brand new sound of alternative rock, funk, soul infused into one, adding a unique blend of soulful sounds enriched with breathtaking, warm, yet powerful vocals. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you.
I need to make you feel warm and fuzzy. You know, I can't my own little two hands are not just it's not gonna do you justice. So I hope you with that thunderous applause.
No, this is great. This is great.
I'm glad you liked it. So, how have you been during these past couple years of being in the most cray-cray time of our lives?
Oh, you know what? Although it's been really crazy, I just want to start off with saying, you know, light and love to all of the people that have lost loved ones due to this crazy pandemic.
Right.
But for me, it's kind of been like a revelatory moment. I've been able to kind of meditate, reconnect with myself spiritually, exercise, really focus on my project. I mean, because I've always been working with so many artists, I never really had the opportunity to put the time and attention on myself. So it's actually been a very productive time for me, despite the craziness.
Right. Now, one of the questions I like to ask everybody is about the pandemic. And, you know, and I always tell people that there's some things, the craziest things that I've seen. But like you were just saying, there have been hardships, obviously. People have lost loved ones. People are still on ventilators. People lost limbs. All kinds of things happened that were really bad. But during the pandemic, there are also pros during the pandemic. We realized who people really were. I did. I unfriended a bunch.
I did.
I said, sayonara, don't need you. The other thing that was crazy for me is, like, in my neighborhood, you know, family members started walking around, you know, taking walks with their families. And that was just odd. It shouldn't be odd, but it was odd to see. You know, climate change. Oh, my God. The pollution level went down when none of us were outside.
Right. It really did, yes.
The animals in the trees, they're probably, do you think they'll come back? Maybe they won't come back and we can breathe. I'm telling you, there are people that actually cut back on hours of work because they realized they were spending time with. There are people that quit their jobs. There were several articles on that.
Right.
People just, what? Life is really short. I need to do what I love. It's not always about money. I need to do the things that I love. And then with artists, you know, there were a lot of artists that they decided to rebrand, took their music down, put something back up, wanted to be more in a player, just wanted to present themselves in a different way, wanted to write different types of music. So during the time that you know, decided to meditate and all that stuff, which is great, did you take that to really self-reflect about the type of music you want to do, who you want to play with, the artists that you want to be perceived as?
I mean, well, I had already been working, these collective of songs that I have now for the new project, I had already been working on them for over the past 20 years, but it just gave me an opportunity to kind of refine them. But the one song, which is my single, actually, because I didn't have a single initially, is titled We the People. And that song was actually sparked by the pandemic, by George Floyd, by just, the lack of humanity that I was seeing in people. So that really kind of charged me up to write about that and write about our basic civil liberties being stripped, how we're being forced to accept the propaganda of, and I'm not dismissing the fact that this was a very serious situation. However, I do feel like it was perpetuated because you can control people with fear.
Right.
So I do feel like it was perpetuated. So those were the things that I was picking up on. And because people were afraid, they're not using like their, what you would consider, I guess, common sense or their natural just way of thinking. Like, can we just have some, what do they call it? Not constructive criticism, but it's like where you get you're objective in the things that you're taking in. I don't know how many different stories we heard about the media, there being false media. Not everything that you see on TV is word. You know what I mean? And I know personally, I've done a bunch of investigation on various sources because I just want to know the truth. I don't want to be misled, and I don't want to be moved to go in a different direction, especially if my spirit doesn't direct me in that way. Right.
I completely get that. And you hit something on the nail there. So, your song, We the People, a lot of people like me, you and I do social impact message songs. And what I found during this entire period is that people don't understand social impact message songs, especially if you're entering them into contests or anything like that, unless it's specifically social impact songs. Because we're like, well, I don't know if this will chart, and I don't know if this will do this. And one contest, I told them, then you don't understand music. Music is not always obviously money, but music is not always about that. Music is sometimes, and a lot of times, used to bring about a message, to help people think.
Right.
Say that there are that out there that believe the same way that you do, and need that. And the other thing that you mentioned in all of this is that, there is so much fakeness, out there in the past years that people needed to gravitate to. They needed hope. They needed music is a place where people can go to where they can get some hope. So if artists like you and other people write about the times, then they say, oh my gosh, this person really gets it. I can go to this singer, really get some understanding about what's going on in a perspective. Because during the past 3 years, people lost their way. They're just like, I don't know what to believe because one person says this and another person says this. Yeah, and I agree with you. That was a lot of fear.
And God forbid if you have opposing views, then you're instantly thrown into a situation where you're ostracized or you're attacked. And I'm just like, can we be objective about this? Can we have some critical thinking? That's what it was. Can we have some critical thinking? Some of this stuff just doesn't make sense. And I don't have to be a scientist or a virologist for something to make sense. 1 + 1 = 2. It's that simple.
Exactly.
You're right.
You're right. And the thing you just said is about, even if you had your own opinion, people are, I get wrong. And the thing is, every time I would get into, let's say, a disagreement, which escalated into other things, I would always end with, you have the right to your opinions. I have the right to mine, but there's also fact checking. strongly believe in yourself, bring me your evidence. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
And then a lot of the times we would say, okay, we agree to disagree. Okay.
Right.
And then
if you have your evidence, you basically could be informing me about something that maybe I don't know, because I haven't been looking at necessarily the sources that you've been looking at or reading about or whatever the case. But my point is that we're human beings. So you mean to tell me you can't relate as a human being? You can't have a level of compassion? And that's the thing that I feel like I've noticed the most, and just the divisiveness in people. It really has been a clear separation, vaxxed or anti-vaxxed. If you're anti-vax and you're protesting your right to have free choice in terms of what you put in your body, then you are made to be the devil. If you are a vaccinated person and you still disagree with being mandated to take something that, and then see, to me, this is like crazy. Now you're going to put a wedge between somebody being able to make a living in comparison to get this. Like, and then for artists, that was catastrophic on a whole different level, because artists, we don't have that security. Unless you're an established artist, or unless you have you're an artist that has some sort of financial backing, or whatever the case. So a lot of us, we're just kind of left out there, and it is even difficult still, because not only are you mandating that you get a vaccination, but then businesses are forced. And I'm not saying that they willingly wanted to do that. They were put in precarious situations too. Either have your employees and the customers get a vaccination and show proof of that, or you're going to be fined. Anybody in their right mind wants to save their business, because people have taken their time, their energy, their effort, their love, their life, and put it into something that they were building. And to have to be placed in a situation where you're having to choose your life, like, it's not just black and white, this whole situation. That's why it really perplexes me, and it really angers me, and it also disappoints me what I have seen in terms of human response to this. The only authentic feeling that I've actually gotten from people are those people that are really disheartened by the amount of people that have lost their lives. But I question, did those people lose their lives because of COVID, or did they lose their lives because of underlying conditions, or did they lose their lives because of underlying conditions with the fear being perpetuated? I mean, let's talk about real issues. Let's talk about the psychological impact that this will have and has had on everyone. Let's stop going back and forth. What difference does it make at this point if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated? Because everybody is still getting it. So why is that even a valid argument anymore?
True. You bring up some very valid points. Very valid points.
And these are just questions. These are just, we all should be able to talk about these things and have a conversation about it. Not one particular group feel attacked, or another particular group feels like they're entitled now because they can move around and do what they want to do or still work or whatever the case. Come on, we all were in lockdown. We all were locked down for a whole year. Did it make a difference then who was who and what was what? No, because we all had to be locked down. And so why would you put even more extenuating circumstances on those people that are exercising their right? And that's all I'm saying. It's your right? It should be.
And I agree with you on all points. Now, there's some people that might say, well, if you don't, I got vaccinated. And the reason I did so is because
I did too.
Because I was dead set against doing it.
But
Me too.
because I got COVID in December of 2020, and it was bad. Not bad enough that I had to go to the hospital, but bad enough that it messed up my brain with a lot of things, like the brain fog, all that stuff. That stuff is real.
Mhm. Right.
I'm typing an email.
Well, see, I think I actually experienced that in September of 2019 because I went through something like, I mean, you talking about fatigue, you're talking about congestion, headache, sore throat, like no appetite. I didn't have to go to the hospital, thankfully.
Right.
You know, I do things that kind of keep my immune system high anyway. But and then when I caught it, I literally just recently just had it. And I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't feel, but I think I didn't experience it so bad because I had already experienced it.
Right. And I've heard that that's been happening a lot to people. I mean, I will type an email, words will pop up on the screen that I didn't type, or I'll miss I mean, I have to reread everything that I type now. That you didn't used to have to have heard other people experience same stuff. And I suffer from insomnia, really bad insomnia, before menopausing, which makes it worse. And then I got COVID, and it tripled it. I didn't sleep for 2-3 years.
God.
You might be talking to a zombie. But what I was,
are you serious? Like, how did you function? That's not even
I wasn't
possible.
I wasn't functioning. Let me tell you something. For a while, I couldn't drive. Because every time I would get behind the wheel, I'd be dizzy. I would be so tired. I'd have to lay in bed. I couldn't function. And you know, now my mom sells CBD, so I take some CBD, a little bit that gives you a boost, give you some kind of energy, and I work out and all that good stuff. But for a while there, I mean, even now, sometimes I'll stand and I know I'm about to say something. 2 seconds later, I can't remember anything. And I mean, I'm getting older, but it had nothing to do with age. It's just... Right. But I agree with you. Sometimes there is a psychological aspect to things that people don't think about in regards to this whole COVID thing. Like, you know, once you get it, before you didn't have it, and now you got it, then all kinds of things start going on in your head. Am I going to die? So you,
exactly.
You know, of something because of that fear that's going on in your head.
Right.
Now, I got all the shots, and
so I want to come in and offset that. That's why my music is basically geared towards raising the vibration. Love conquers all, and if we can raise this vibration, we can get away from these fear-based, doubtful way of thinking and being, and really exist as the human beings that we're supposed to. We're supposed to live.
That's why I always tell people, like musicians, that you guys have a superpower. We have our music is a superpower. We can do so many great things through music, through our artistry. Why not continue to do that? That's why I keep saying the music industry still doesn't understand social impact message songs, and I'm trying to push that narrative that, you know, sometimes there are people out here trying to make a difference.
Well, see, that's funny that you bring that up, because I used to, when I initially started, like, just writing music and all of that stuff, I really tried to focus my attention to what I thought would sell. And that just felt so inauthentic and not organic at all. And I really had trouble with trying to write stuff like that. And so I just had to, you know, you got to create the space, and you got to be able to speak authentically and be authentic and not worry about does it fit into this marketing spot of R&B or like. So with this project, I totally didn't even want to. I'm not going to worry about that. That's not my forte anyway. My forte is to be the artist and to try to convey to the best of my ability the message that needs to be out.
And that is so...
Yeah, you know, exactly. It's a lot of artists that need to be heard. We need these messages, especially at this time when people are just vibrating on such low levels. Oh, my God. Ooh.
I agree with you 100%. So, the second question is, how important is it for you to be an authentic singer-songwriter performer?
I think it's the absolute must. I think we already have enough of we already have enough of what is not so good out there. And no disrespect to any artist, because as an artist, this is a business as well. And some people have a better business savvy than others, and some other people are just more connected creatively. So no disrespect to anyone, but, we all have our opinions in terms of what we like and what we dislike. And a lot of the material that's out here nowadays, like I just can't even listen to the radio because it just doesn't vibrate with me. It's not that it just doesn't go for me. That doesn't mean that it won't, work for somebody else. But yeah, I just want something that has substance. Has substance.
Exactly. That's what I've been telling people. I said it's always, obviously it's about breakup, love, I hate this, da-da-da.
Right.
But people are craving something with more substance, because I think during the pandemic, a lot more sought out independent artists to listen to their music, because I just believe that independent artists are way deeper than the stuff that you hear out there. We're writing our own stuff from our soul. We want to make a difference. We want to do something.
Right.
And obviously we want to do this as a living and make money from it, but that takes a step back from the message that we're trying to generate, this message that we're trying to put out there. So I completely understand that. Now, how did you get into the music industry? What was it that motivated, that said, okay, Kiki's going to do this thing? Kiki and music are one.
Well, I already knew. Basically, after I left the Baltimore School for the Arts and then went to Juilliard, after I left Juilliard, I actually was going to go back to school, and I had moved to Atlanta for a quick little stint. And then once I got to Atlanta, I realized, I need to be back in New York. So I moved back to New York, and it's funny because I was standing in the subway. That's what I love about New York, man. You literally can go anywhere and meet anybody, and before you know it, it's like a primetime gig or something. Like, it's such an overwhelming amount of talent, and what makes it so cool is that even people that are like rock stars and major actors, and they're pretty cool because they know what it is. It's like you can see them walking down the street. So that's what I love about New York. So I'm standing in the subway, and I'm singing. I had got my headphones on, and I'm just kind of singing to myself. And these two young ladies came up to me, and they were just like, oh, my goodness, you should audition for my producer friend. And, because of the way that it happened, I was kind of in disbelief, but I was just like, all right, you know what, I'm going to check it out. It's two white girls. They might really know somebody. Let me check it out. So I called the producer, and, she asked me to come in the next day to audition. And it was really cool because the other vocalist, his name is Peppy Houston. He's from Baltimore, Maryland also. So it was cool to kind of just reconnect with somebody that was from Baltimore. So I auditioned. And then literally 5 days later, after I got the audition, they were flying us out to Oslo, Norway. At that time, I was singing background for Billy Crawford. So that kind of, that jump-started everything in terms of touring professionally and just being a professional singer. And I just knew that was, if I didn't know before then, I knew at that moment, this is the path that I want to be on. And no matter how long it took, no matter how much happiness or heartbreak or whatever, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I always knew that aside from the music, I had a message. In fact, I feel like my message is bigger than the music, and that the music is just a catalyst to what I'm really supposed to be doing.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's kind of where things started for me. And after I did Billy Crawford's tour, I was on tour with Kelis, and that was, oh, God, that was such a great tour. And I met so many wonderful musicians. Actually, Portia, one of my homegirls, Portia Roll is her name, great guitarist. She introduced me to my current mentor, Nona Hendryx. And we actually had done a show in Japan, and we were flying back, and this was really strange. This was like a full flight. Destiny's Child and their dancers were on that flight. Nona Hendryx and Kelis and all of us and those band members, we all were on that flight. And all I remember was Nona walking up the aisle, and it was like as soon as I saw her, I just remember thinking in my mind, like, oh, my gosh, I need to know who she is. I'm just going to stare at her until she looks at me. I'm going to draw her energy into me. And I must have succeeded, because before I knew it, Portia was just like, oh, Kiki, do you know Nona? And I was like, no, but so grateful. I mean, like, you were one of three of one of the baddest girl groups in history. Why wouldn't I want to know you? So after that, I linked with Nona, and I've been working with her ever since. That's been over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And she's introduced me to film, to plays, to, just the formality of performing live with a band and how to, like, delegate that. And, like, she's just been a wonderful mentor to observe and kind of take in. And, just to kind of share one thing that she shared with me, she was like, you can teach a man, oh, God, what's the saying? Don't let me mess it up. Basically, you can teach a man how to fish. Like, you don't want to get the fish for him. You want to show him how to put the worm on a hook and throw it in and get the fish himself. Because if you know how to do something yourself, you can sustain yourself. Now, I know I botched that story completely, but that's the that's the gist of it. Like, she's taught me so much, and I'm just so thankful and grateful for her generosity. And it's not only me. Like, she just has, everywhere she goes, she just blesses people with her knowledge and her talent and just her warmth and giving spirit.
Right.
So, I've been really blessed to work with some incredible people. Incredible.
Well, that's awesome. And you got into the Juilliard School of Music, which is a very prestigious school and very hard to get into. So kudos to you on that.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. It was hard, but I had a really great voice teacher in high school, Mrs. Jean Carter, and she had me prepared. When I was at the School for the Arts, we were doing operas. We were, doing different scenes from Rigoletto or The Marriage of Figaro or De Rosenkavalier, and, which was actually kind of advanced for, I guess, high school students, but we all were capable, and she was such a brilliant voice teacher. She just knew how to bring out those qualities in your voice, and I was actually able to excel and really have a beneficial career with, my classical music, from being winning the NAACP AXO competition regionally as well as nationally, doing the National Foundation for the Advancement in the Arts, which is that kind of ushered me into the position of becoming a presidential scholar, and singing at 17 at the Kennedy Center for, who was it, George W. Bush? Yeah, but this woman, and I can't take the credit. Like, I was so young, I didn't know what I was doing. I was following her instruction, and she really just knew how to handle my voice. And, we filled out the application for Juilliard, although that was the school that she really wanted me to go to. I wanted to go to Manhattan School of Music, but they didn't offer as much scholarship as well. Juilliard, I mean, you can't get any better than a full 4-year scholarship, I presume. So,
I mean,
but Juilliard, that was an experience. I'm happy to say that I experienced it, and you know, I was able to take away what I was able to take away from that experience, because I only stayed for 2 years, and to be completely transparent, they dismissed me. They dismissed me like a month before we were supposed to come back to while I was going into my 3rd year. And they dismissed me on a technicality. I failed humanity, you know, but that's a pretty extensive story.
That's poo-poo.
Again, it you know, well, it was a good experience in the respect that I think it's important to not only know success, but to know failure, and also how to come back from that. And I used to think of that experience as a very negative experience, and it only was until recently where I was able to see the silver lining in it and have a level of gratitude and appreciation. Even if I was just there for 2 years, I was there. I made it. And I did it.
Who cares what you were there for? You could have been there for 6
months. But this business is so political, and people try, they try to tear down your accolades if possible. I did.
I would get a
again, the value in it.
To Juilliard, I would get a T-shirt.
Say it again.
Made. I would get a T-shirt made. I got it. Music. What are you doing? What are you doing? It doesn't matter how long you were there. You got in. It is very hard.
Well, you know what? I looked at it like this. I was just like, if who got dismissed from there? Robin Williams, who was a brilliant actor. I'm trying to think who else. Miles Davis, I believe he got dismissed from the school. Like, these are brilliant people that Juilliard kind of just overlooked or didn't understand what to do with them. And that's okay. That's okay. That was my past, and I had to go that route. And now I'm here. And, it's all good, though. It's all good. It's all good.
Yes, and I still get a T-shirt that says, I got into Juilliard. What are y'all doing? Exactly how I would do it. And there would be no shame.
I know, that's right. No, it was very challenging. But you know what? When I auditioned, it's funny because this is a story that I will always remember, and this gives me such consolation in regards to me being at Juilliard. There was this woman, this Caribbean woman, that was like the housekeeper in the school, and I literally only saw her on the day that I auditioned. And I was standing in the bathroom. My voice teacher was at the door of the hall where they were doing the auditioning, and I was so nervous because, of course, it was Juilliard, and I was just like, oh, my gosh, I hope they'll accept me. And she looked, oh, Gary, why are you so fearful? Don't be afraid. You're going to, I'm trying to put my depiction accent on it. But she was like, you're going to be great. No worries. And then she told me the story, and she was like, there was a snail that was like in a race. And the snail, although the snail was the slowest in the race, the snail ended up finishing first because what the snail did, despite any challenges, despite anything that came across his path, he kept looking forward, and he kept going forward. And I often think about that when I reflect on Juilliard, because that at my age at the time, that was a hard blow. I felt like I let the world down, and then there was me,
right?
And so that gave me consolation because I thought I was completely off my path. I didn't know what I was going to be doing in terms of music, but stayed focused. I stayed steadfast, and it literally brings me, that's why I'm so grateful, because I could have gotten distracted. I could have done anything. I could have, I could have continued to sabotage myself after such a huge blow.
Right.
But I didn't. I gave myself time to like just recuperate, bounce back. And then the beautiful part of it is that I started to put myself back together. But it was me doing the work. It was me pouring into me as opposed to other people building me or creating me and molding me for how they wanted or needed me to be. You know, so.
I get it. I get it. Now, tell me about your song, Power of My Kiki. I tell you, I love that title because it could go so many places.
Thank you. I know, right?
What is she referring to?
Right.
First thing I thought about.
Wow. Well, I'm definitely okay. Well, first of all, ki or chi or in different languages means energy or spirit or soul, you know. But then there's also the other connotation, and for women, we got that power of the pussy, honey, and I'm just going to say it like that. And so, because we have the power of the pussy, that means that we have to really be aware of our worth and our purpose as women in this world.
Right.
And so, just kind of talking about Power of My Kiki, I think the first lyric is, are you body shy? Can't find the perfect part of you. Deep inside, look beyond the shadow. The reason why I even thought about that is because I was aware or made conscious of my own thoughts surrounding my body. At a certain point when my body, and I've always been like a petite kind of woman, but fit and, you know, shapely and all of that. But then once my body started to like change and go through changes, and then, you know, I had my daughter, things weren't quite falling back into place the way that, you know, I was just overly conscious of like how I look and how much I put an emphasis on that, not necessarily so much for myself, but for other people who didn't know me, had never talked with me, didn't appreciate me. And so I'm just like, are you body shy? And mind you, this is a very general statement because, you know, just talking about even sexuality, like there are some transgender women that might go through changes in just in terms of accepting themselves or society accepting them. It could be a little girl that's transitioning to, you know, from a little girl to a woman that doesn't understand why she's feeling all of these things. And, you know, so it's a very general, you know, topic. Are you body shy? Can't find the perfect part of you deep inside, meaning let's go past the facade. Let's go past what we consider the physical. Let's look deep inside, look beyond the shadows, because once you get past all of the stuff that you have piled up on top of the thing that probably hurts you or makes you feel different or makes you feel isolated or makes you feel doubtful about who you are and your power as your being, let's move all of that out the way. And so once you get to the core of who you are, can't hide, you can't hide your beauty. We all are gems. We all have to get rid of the negativity. We all have to recognize our beauty, especially little girls and women. And I'm not leaving out our young men. That's a different story. I can't relate to that because I'm not a man. But in terms of a woman and knowing what self-worth is, like my father used to say to me, a man could put on a suit, be looking fresh, get drunk, fall down in a gutter, and still will be considered a man. A woman cannot do the same thing. We have to have, because we are the mothers, we are of the womb. We are the first people that we bring life. Do we understand how powerful that is?
It's very powerful.
We bring forth life, right? We carry that life. We nurture that life, that energy force.
Yep.
I can't even begin to tell you how imperative that is. So I wanted to write something that woke up the spirit so that we could begin to see the value in ourselves and the beauty that we bring to this world. We don't have to subscribe to the stories of those people that might be vibrating on a low level and saying that you're a worthless son of a bitch, or you ain't nothing but a hoe, or no. And in those moments, if we could try to find some compassion, because those hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Hurt people hurt people. So that's kind of the basis for all of my songs. So I try to just, I don't know, man. I just tap into my spirit. The messages come through me, and I'm just a vessel.
That's right. So I'm going to play Power of Mind.
Yay!
Look beyond the
Wait, let me make sure that got a second.
Yes.
What am I calling?
Thank you, Natalie. Oh, that is the greatest compliment. Thank you. You singing the song. Greatest compliment. Thank you.
So what I do is I say the power of my nat.
That's what you do. I love it. Okay, so you know what? You just gave me a great idea. I'm going to have everybody make like a 1-minute video, and they have to say power of their whoever. You know, absolutely. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Because I got
you know, yes.
Oh, I loved it. So.
Oh, thank you.
What motivated you for your latest album? Your latest.
Like I said, you know, it's been the songs that I have that are going to be coming out. It's been a collective group of songs over, you know, a span of 20 years or so, and some of them, just because of the messages, I just couldn't let it go.
Right.
And because it's been a developmental process, they weren't quite up to par where I felt like they should be. And so that's why this time for me working that stuff out and re-recording some stuff, that was a lot. But that kind of, it was the motivation behind me just putting the message out. And like I said, We the People is my first single. That really kind of got me going with that message. And, you know, I just had the time to focus on me. And so with that time, I just wanted to be productive and really, you know, put this project out here now. I feel like it's where it should be, the quality that it should be.
Awesome. I love that. Now, what is a quote, an inspirational quote or message or Bible passage or whatever you need that you use when you need an extra motivation or you wake up with?
Oh, boy. I don't have a specific quote per se. I kind of just, I resonate because I feel strongly that whatever message or whatever I need to hear or see is going to come to me. So I'll see it that day. But most of the time, I just say my prayer in the morning when I wake up, or I chant, and I do my meditation. And I don't have a specific, you know, but sometimes actually I'll go to the Lord's Prayer. Sometimes my mom really likes that, or Psalm 23. She really likes that one as well.
Like that one.
I might recite that just to have a level of consolation and connection with my ancestor, my mom.
Right.
So, you know.
You could wake up in the morning and it says, I've got the power of my Kiki, and I'm ready to go.
After I do my meditation and my Nam Yoho Renge Kyo, I definitely have the power of the Kiki then.
Every morning now I'm going to say, I got the power of my nat.
I know that's right. Yes. Every sister needs to do that.
The nat experience, the Kiki experience, I love that 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on Chatting with Nat. My God, I learned so much about you. I definitely need to do an Instagram live with you. We need to be live on Instagram.
Yes, that would be so cool. We definitely can set that up. I've had such a great conversation with you. Thank you for just allowing the platform to be open and not censoring anything valued at this moment. Thank you.
Because
I appreciate it.
You are one of the most authentic people out there. I love it. Absolutely. Now it's all about
thank you.
I'm so good.
You know, well, I had to grow into that person. I wasn't always her, but you know, the process is beautiful. What can I say?
That's right, because now we got the Kiki experience.
Ew.
See, I'm
as my musical director Mike Greco would say, it's the power.
That's right. It's the power. Have you gotten the power of the Kiki? You could make that a trending thing. Power of the Kiki.
You know, okay. Well, we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. You know, it's a few things in the work, and I'm so glad that I'm working with B Squared Management. You know, we're organizing a lot of things. They definitely have me working, so that'll probably be another thing at some point that gets branded and kind of put out there. And you know, because I do think that it's power in that. Yes.
Yes, it
is.
The
power of. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm asking is people to show up and know who you are, stand in your power. Just be you, be authentic.
Amen.
And let's love on each other. You know, let's love on each other. Let's raise that vibration of love. We need that. Our world needs that. Amen. It's not a want, it is a necessity.
Amen.
So yeah, man.
All right. Well, this was the amazing, talented power of the Kiki, the singer-songwriter, the Kiki experience. You want to experience the Kiki experience with her music? She is awesome. Awesome. You can find her on ITFB, Twitter, website, YouTube. She has all of it. Website is www.thekikiexperience.com. She is amazing, and I can't wait to do an IG Live with her. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
I hope you have the rest of the week is amazing, and you're blessed each and every day. Thank you for coming on Chatting with Nat.
Thank you so much, and you as well. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Yet again, that was
Singer-Songwriter
Kiki Experiencer. We just experienced her. Until next time on Chatting with Nat. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard.